Hello and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. I'm Luce, and no avatar tonight because part of me has to pay attention to make sure the expressions change properly, and also, yeah, I just want to focus on the game itself tonight, and I'm kind of going to relax, so we're going to be doing precisely that. And I just realized I forgot to turn on the music. Yeah, I'm not one of those streamers who runs whatever music I'm feeling in the background, so hold on, let me, hold on, let me set the game here to BRB so I change that. I don't think I need to cover the system configuration settings, but it's probably good practice to get to doing that, especially if I can remember. Corey Mill. As mentioned, I am soloing as Reaper because that is my main. It is what I'm most comfortable with, and therefore it makes most sense to do so. Enter Palace of the Dead, floor 111. Let me bring up my guide here because this is my first time going past 100, so everything in here is new to me. Here we go, enemies that actually matter. Alright. Alright, the toads are the really big thing. Alright, the big... Alright, I need to be especially careful of traps and stuff here, so... Here we go. Here. I do need to be wary, but the good news is there should be Pomander of Steel. Okay, we'll start up with one of these. Luckily, these should not be too dangerous. I do need... Taking it slow is perfectly valid, but this is definitely going to be the part where I think the timer's going to start being relevant. Last time I already started getting alerts for taking a while. So, time to do what I do best and take it unreasonably slow for no good reason. Actually, I don't think I've ever done anything like that, but it felt appropriate to say. I'm always wary about... I know a lot of people complain that too many content creators like to... Oh, the toad. Now, a guide had a huge thing about how be careful of these guys at all costs. Basically, it stuns you if you aren't facing them. Rage, eh? I guess if there's a rage here, I can use here, take advantage here. I can't open chests in this form, so I need to be very wary. I'm already transformed, so I don't know if the frog would affect me, but... Yeah, I genuinely don't care about anything else that this dungeon has to offer right now. Unable to execute that command while you're in a transformed state. Ah, hello, Toady. There we are. Yeah, the more time I can save on early floors, the more time I have to screw around in later ones. Fortune, I don't care enough about that, unfortunately. I've got a decent selection of these I think I can afford. Oh, for some reason it walked me out of it. Alright, because it counts me as just running through that area really fast. Okay, that's what happened. I don't know how far I'm gonna go or how late I'm gonna go with this, so we'll just find out. If I'm feeling too tired, I'm not gonna force myself to go too hard. Okay, good. The frog's going in another direction entirely. Yeah, the frogs being wandering is especially painful because I don't know how many of them there are going to be. Explosion. Let's get this marked on the map. I don't care enough to get the chest in there, but I probably should. Oh good, that parry really reduced the damage I took. At least one frog down. Alright, give my health a bit of time to regenerate. The frog's coming this way, so I'll just draw it over here. Only at floor 12, so I don't want to take too much time. Even though it's 10 floors in 60 minutes, 6 minutes per floor. Current of Passage. Okay, that means I don't need to worry about those enemies there. I just need to run around. Safety. All traps have disappeared. Good. This also means I can make an effort to avoid. Let's lure him over here so I can try and avoid that frog. Okay, good. The frog didn't go this way. Here we are. Anything good in here? Commander of Sight. That's not useful here now this floor is over, so let's get out of here. About 6 minutes per floor for 10 floors, but remember the boss is going to take a little while to melt down because they are very, very strong. Or rather, they're going to be very tanky, and that's going to be a pain in the ass. Items unavailable. Commander of Lust. Can't use that one. I don't really want to waste with here. If there was a negated healing, I'd seriously consider using one, but just no items, that's fine, I think. Good, good. Stay center. Anything in here? Pomander of Witching. Now that's good. I had to use, if you recall the last time I streamed this, I had to use some Pomanders of Witching to avoid death. Okay, good. That one's going in a different direction, which means I can do this one. Either pool arm remains unchanged. What a pain. Frog. Karna passage active. The question is it going to be over here? Can I sneak past? Yeah, it is over here. Okay, then let's go around. Don't care. Let's just get out of here. Being done leveling and having a good supply of items means I do have the luxury that I can just, keep going. Now they can now the ones they can drop do have the ability to become mimics, so do be careful about that. That's two snakes on top of each other. Holy crap. Crap, how'd that thing spawn in here? Oh dear. Yeah, because I'm dead. Come on. Failed. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I thought I clicked on that, but it didn't work. Oh, well. Now, the thing is, now you can start, if you die, you do have the ability to start from a little lower. It's just a matter of... Unable to continue. Data records a failed attempt. Say only available when the party KO count is at 0. Alright. That was a lot faster than I thought, honestly. Might as well do this for at least, I think I can make about 3. Yeah, because I'll be making a lot more. The lower levels will... Sure. Now, I don't know if I have to start at floor 1. Let's see here. Alright, yeah. Alright, I have confirmed. You must start... I must specifically start at level 1, so... Well, whatever. I get guaranteed either pool weapons and armor upon certain progress, so that's a bit important. Yeah, I guess it's like Streets of Rogue. It's very common for me to have a good supply of stuff only to get screwed over. And at least the nice thing for these early floors, I might as well use that. The nice thing about these low floors is mimics can actually still be struck with regular weapons. They can actually be stunned and stuff. They don't specifically require a silence effect. You also get the satisfying level ups a lot more quickly. Oh yeah, and it's nice that you do, especially that you get your roll stuff. And yes, I'm well aware that the real game for this doesn't really start until level 50. Right, I don't have any range here. There's definitely a few things I've needed to relearn here, like, well, I do get a teleport, or rather a dash at low levels in this mode. It's not until the actual ability to teleport back where I ran from does not happen until a lot later. So I've still got a lot of practice to do, but I figure I was just kind of in the mood for this game's roguelike mode here. Of course, I could also go to Heaven on High. I really don't really need to use this, but at the same time, why not? There's nothing really good at these early floors, but I suppose there is a title if you can find a lot of them. And I guess at the end of the day, even stuff I sell to NPCs can still be potentially useful to sell at the Doma Restoration. It's not much, but it does add up over time. At this low level, only bronze ones can contain mimics. Yeah, the Ether Polearm chances goes up the further in you get. And if nothing else, it'll be good to have sustaining potions. I should probably be having those active pretty much at all times at later floors now that I think about it, so that's something I'll need to keep in mind. And these only work in Palace of the Dead. I believe Heaven on High has a different set. Enemies respawn a lot quicker in this area because, yeah, you need to level up still. In fact, even if you specifically kill everything, it's going to be a lot harder to... I'm not going to be 60 by the time the boss shows up here, I can tell you that much. I guess the fact that I have no chance of actually dying here. I should also be a bit more liberal with uses of Pomander of Lust, because early on, their Fire 2s they offer are really good. At the same time, though, stuff dies in one hit, so... Intuition. I don't mind to continue. Yeah, as easy as it is here, these early floors, I don't have no issues running against the time limit, so... Yeah, the Toad. Now, this would have been absolutely killer back then. I think snakes also have an instant kill against frogs. I don't remember, though. That might just be during specific fights. I'm gonna be honest, though. I was expecting to at least get floor 120 before I died, which is rather embarrassing. I guess shows just how easy it is to screw up, I guess. Now, what levels does this come? Level 10. Affluence. I guess I might as well. Jogging is rather nice here, even if it's not gonna last too long. We're both stuck with auto attacks. There we are. Yeah, that was just... I guess I have to be very careful. There's so many snakes and... I get the sense that even if with a meta one, with the most meta job possible, the machinist, I would have struggled. But like I said, I'm with the job I feel most comfortable with. Yeah, I did look it up to make sure that, yeah, I do absolutely have to start from level 1 or else I can't get the achievement or title, rather the title of Necromancer for beating it. Yeah. I can't get any meter yet, so I don't have to worry nearly as much about, so I don't have to worry nearly as much about making sure Mark of Death is on the enemy when they die. Especially given, you know, everything here dies in 2 hits. Quite literally. Yeah, I've already used a Pomander's Sight, so that does nothing for me here. So let's just go back. Hopefully I'll run into more things there that I can kill. Yep, something new to kill, something new to kill. I know, I'm being absurdly reckless by not standing near the walls. Like, even on these low floors, it's a good habit to get into. Steel. And make no mistake, later floors are hard. Supposedly, later floors are hard even in a full party, meaning you have backup, someone can just run away and disengage or whatever. Use one. Alright, I can't pick up anything while transformed. I guess I could at least use the magic to hit from afar. Ah, yeah, these guys. Blast Sting. Those are probably about the only actually threatening thing at low levels. Good, my ranged move. It's a little annoying that I have to cast it, but definitely could be a lot worse, I'll tell you that much. I guess I could also take my chances swapping to Heaven on High and see how that goes. Honestly, I might do that just because I'm not sure how interesting you'll all find this. And the other two, I don't think I've done anything with yet, if I'm completely honest. In fact, I don't think I even unlocked Pilgrim's Traverse. Rhino attack. That poison is nothing to me. Phoenix down. Can't have too many of those now that they can actually be used in dungeons. Useful since as a DPS, I normally can't do anything if the healer dies unless I happen to be a red mage or summoner, since those get a revive. Now, I do need to head off this other dung beetle to get the experience, so let's do precisely that. Here we are. At least this will help me get a nicer supply of sustaining potions, since, yeah, I think once I get to higher levels, I will, in fact, really need to manage it. And what level do I get this again? 20. What a pain. Strictly speaking, I should just wait it out. Ah, crap. I guess I'll find out if, okay, I can interrupt it. Now, I believe they can cast it again, but it has a bit of a cooldown before they're able to, so... That was lucky on my end. I really need to take advantage of these early floors to get these, and that's why part of me wonders if maybe it'd be a lot more interesting to go but heaven on high. I just have to be careful because eventually they will get bored. Basically, the bees just eventually get bored and go, you know what, it's time to Final Sting. Which does, to be fair, it does kill the bee, but it does percentage-based health damage, so... Yeah, the Palace Yarzons, these actually are kind of an ass. Because of the vulnerability up they inflict. It's not very long, but... Here. Commander Fortune has no point because there's only like one enemy left. If you don't mind me going through all these repetitive floors for stuff, by all means let me know, but otherwise I think I might be better off doing this off stream. Getting to a reasonable floor. Cairn of Return is a way to revive any dead party members even if you are not a job that can revive normally. So it's quite helpful, especially if you wish... I have seen some parties that are just, instead of a proper healer, they'll just use a warrior. Because warriors are basically a green tank or a blue healer. But they don't have a revive, so unless they've got a bunch of Phoenix downs, yeah, you're not going to make it. And this area was basically the only place Phoenix downs were actually useful for a while. Sight. Alrighty, since we know this is just the one-off place, let's clean it out first. Of steel, good. The raw stat ones are nice to have a surplus of, just so that you can be a bit more liberal with their use. Commander of Intuition. Those will probably be better to use on later floors than these, if we're completely honest. Okay, I guess I do need to be a lot more liberal with Pomander use. Then again, like I said, supposedly the harder floors are around 150 onward. I didn't even reach that far. I feel embarrassed. Hopefully you can find that funny at least. I mean, I did come immediately and die. Hopefully that was entertaining. Yeah, the ability to teleport back won't be for a while. Oh, please. There we go. 22. Yeah, I think I'm a bit over leveled for this area, which is definitely a good thing. Wow, that's barely... Yeah, no, the rewards get better the higher the floors. So there is technically a material reward for doing so, but... I don't think there's an achievement for any of these, but... I saw brats. Oh, I didn't have this one before. The eyes of Northern Pais, I said to see only the truth and food. Well, I'm not complaining about a free new minion. I thought I had gotten all the rewards from here a long time ago, but I guess I'd actually farmed floors 51 through 60, and that made it a lot easier to get all the rewards that were from that area, but this is from even before that. And as I mentioned, the rewards change a lot. Or I guess it could also just be luck. I mean, it is the gotcha be gotcha and all that. I also believe that these are the only times you actually need items identified, which is funny because I still remember old MMOs old enough where you'd get drops from a dungeon, but then you'd need to either pay or see an NPC to have it identified first before. I guess I can kind of get the idea. Paying to identify an item forces some money out of the economy to keep inflation under control, which is also what repair bills are for. I want to test something here. Don't worry, I'll be back here soon enough, but let's see here. floor am I on for Heaven on High? Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to be changing here. Like I said, I'm not sure if people might find that entertaining or not, but let's see here. Heaven on High. 21. Okay. So, yeah, I'm not much better here either. But that mark also shows I never got past level 50, which itself is a bit interesting. But this also only has 100 floors, which on the surface sounds, oh, so it should be easier. Well, no, it just means instead of floor 150, it gets hard around floor 70. And that's gonna have to be careful. Still, maybe I'll dedicate a night to that, honestly. For now, however, I guess since I'm screwed either way, I'll just do a bunch of floors here. Yeah, don't ask why I'm just craving Palace of the Dead and Heaven on High. I just kind of am. I'm not sure why. Of course, my retainers finished that. Well, whatever. It's not... I've mentioned it a number of times now on my streams, but basically, Here. I just have my... Oh, balls. Let's hope the toad doesn't notice the toad here. Yeah, that's why it's extremely dangerous to not stick near the walls. Thankfully, this being an early floor, even if they saw me, it wouldn't be enough to kill me, I don't think. But it's also... At the same time, it's one of those roads best not left traveled. You know? Yeah, apparently in the future floors, the tongues will stun you for a hefty length if you are not facing them specifically. That's kind of nasty. And we are, although I guess this does remind me, while this is decent as a little watered-down roguelike whenever you're in the mood for it, it does carry the same issues those have in that the early floors are going to be very repetitive. I'm starting to see why a lot of ones like Gunfire Reborn like to have multiple different... Actually, no, Gunfire Reborn also has a problem because while Area 2 onward can be different areas, the first one's always the Young Long Temp Grave, or whatever. Yeah, I guess what I'm getting at is, for roguelike, it's usually a good idea to differ up the early areas a bit. I guess one could argue... I guess one could reasonably argue that if you're doing these, you could also do a different deep dungeon to get a slightly different experience, but those also have a lot of different content in general. Like, this capping at 60 means I have to be very wary. I don't even get Enshroud here. I will get it for Eureka Orthos, granted. And that's gonna be nice. Thinking about it, maybe I should have gotten 2 instead of 3. Well, not that it matters. As you saw, I start getting a lot of very, very quick ether energy along the way. And since it's synced down here, as you might have noticed by the little sync icon, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't really matter until later floors, and at later floors you get them a lot more frequently. Yeah, maybe, yeah. As much as I keep thinking how I could have used the Pomanders, I also have to remember if I can't get past them without Pomanders, then it doesn't really matter now, does it? I need to be actually good. Now, granted, that might, I guess if I'm gonna have that mindset, Eureka Orthos might be a little better. From my understanding, that one is respect the mechanics more than anything else. So as long as you do that, you get a bit more. But at the same time, the mechanics can be a bit complicated, so. Yeah. Balls. Yeah. I haven't looked up how hard supposedly Pilgrim's Traverse it is, but given you have the ability to use items to make stuff harder, I'm willing to guess it's definitely not going to be a case of balls. And I'm definitely going to guess that it's not going to be the easiest one around. Fortune. Fine, I'll use the fortune now. Fortune smiles upon you, possibly. Yeah, the more of these items I can get in the early floors, the easier later ones will be. Mostly, I just need to be wary because the level 100 boss isn't difficult per se, but he can be a bit of a handful since as a Reaper, I can't take too many hits, but his minions don't stay down unless you use a specific Pomander. I don't mind using that Pomander, but I have to be very careful since I only have so many. Spinning Scythe. Yeah, I can't rush going there at all. So yeah, I guess you could say right now I am genuinely after the Necromancer title. And yeah, I will be fine going after her lone hero, the one from Heaven on High as well. Supposedly Heaven on High is easier than Palace of the Dead, but I don't know. The big thing about Reaper is they don't get Enshroud at that time, which means they don't have very many things that are particularly great. But then again, my 1-2-3 combo doesn't get upgraded, which means right now I have a 1-2-3 combo that's balanced for level 100 at level 25. So my damage output is high. I don't have to worry about that. Okay, we'll just kill them. Yeah, I would not have bothered attacking if this wasn't a very low floor. Now granted, if I had stayed along the walls, I wouldn't have had to worry about that at all, but at the same time, I have kind of a hard time taking this too seriously. Here we are. Alright. There's still a chest here I missed. One that he dropped. Yeah, Pomander of Sight, I do not need you anymore, Pomander of Sight. But you have to be careful. Eventually, the mimics stop, Here. Oh, that must have been from an enemy drop, if it's there. Phoenix down. There we go. Yeah, I don't mind having a surplus of those. As a melee DPS main, I have no way to revive allies. So having that as an option might not be a bad idea. Alright, there's one in here as well. I think there's still any bronze chests are the ones with the chance of mimic at this point, but as you can see, not only is it low, but they can still be stunned, which means I can avoid the pox problem. These Palace Toads are actually a little beefy. High potion? I guess the nice thing about Heaven on High in this dungeon is... Oh, that's a lot of enemies. Yeah, we're drawing them in one at a time. Even here, I don't feel comfortable multi-pulling. Now, these slimes, I have to be careful. Technically, they have the ability to explode. I don't think it's fatal at this low of a floor, but... Nice, a full heal right when I needed it. I know people have argued back and forth for ages about whether or not it's good to heal upon level up or not. I can kind of get it. On one hand, it does... I can can get it. It does mean you can be a lot more risky when you know you have plenty of time left. But at the same time, you have to remember, I've died here, Streets of Rogue, and plenty of others going, okay, I'm very close to a level up, and that's gonna heal me, so I don't need to use healing items. And then I die. Yeah, I'm glad there was a lot of enemies here, because that really helps for the purposes of, Ooh, I like this song. Breaking Boundaries. It's usually the one that plays at the end of role quests and, there it is. Yeah, for the last boss fight of role quests and individual job quests. I can understand why people are mixed on the role quest. A lot of people missed a lot of ones like Dark Knight were real. Hey, oops. Yeah, there were a lot of quests that were really good, but at the same time, the quality was pretty varied. Like the Bard ones were okay, but the Samurai and Paladin ones were universally agreed to be the least engaging. Were guaranteed to be the worst. And with more and more jobs, using that to just explain the origins and how they work is nice and all. Prioritizing that for the new jobs makes sense, versus trying to constantly think up something new for all of them. Look how many oh. There we are. There we are. I didn't even need to stun them. For some reason, didn't feel like... Yeah, I gotta empty this place out completely. The more experience, the better. If I get level 30, that'd be rather nice, since we'll finally get the last piece of my 1-2-3 combo. This kind of surprised Dead Man's Tale is where it is, but then again, maybe I shouldn't be. It's from, if you haven't been watching streams, it's from Occult Crescent. You just have to revive like 500 people, and since it's an open air instance area that everyone does their own thing, and a lot of people aren't paying attention since they're just grinding, it can be very easy to get, but it is a bit of a commitment. Not bad. I do like that the game does randomize the music that plays a bit here, although it is based on the expansion, so again, this is mostly going to be music from Heaven's Ward and A Realm Reborn. I don't need that. Oh dear. We're both just auto-attacking each other. At least enemies are dropping these really well. are level 26, they actually give reasonable experience mounts. Yeah, let's just get out of here. You know what? I can handle mimics this low. I'd prefer mandragoras, but you know how it is sometimes. Yeah, these are where the 10% more damage I start dealing with everything, start from the Death's Dane mark, is really starting to matter. Finally, I can have my third hit of my combo soon. That's funny. Ow. Oh. Hello, Palace Slime. Forgive me for not noticing you there. I would have killed you sooner. Oh, apparently I missed a chest in here. Strength, huh? I could probably come back for that one. Last time I was mentioned about feeling a bit insecure about my achievements just because, well, I didn't feel like I had anything that really that was really rare or exclusive. Now, that also depends what you mean, because, like, skill-based stuff, well, there's a lot of things. I've got a lot of, like, I've beaten a lot of trials and even a number of savage stuff. I haven't beaten any ultimates, but those take a very large commitment, and more importantly, people you can know and trust, because you need to keep up, but make sure you're not falling behind as well, which of course I can be a little bothered by if we're blunt. Now, I don't believe these Cobras have an instant kill if you're a frog, but obviously, again, I should be standing next to the, And again, it wasn't a trap that killed me last time. It was simply enemies spawning in at the worst possible time. I mean, I have it on record. They spawned right in my face. Heirloom screen. Yeah, those mandragoras are generally what I prefer to see when I use that pomander, because they are very easy to kill and grant a lot. Only one hit kills them basically, so just use a range attack and you're good. I'll get it when I come back, because I still need to go this way as well. Yeah, and I'll take as much time to get experience as possible. As a DPS, I'm absolutely in no risk of running out the timer because I couldn't kill fast enough. Instead, I guess I could also try this as a gunbreaker or a tank that I'm comfortable with. And it very much is worth it, but... Oh, well... Yeah, again, this would have straight up killed me if it was one of those upper floors. Because you saw even just 2 enemies was too much for a Reaper to handle. Well, at least that was some nice experience. And yeah, I can now finally use another one of these boosts on my way out. Alright, let's go. I'm debating if I want to do more of these. It's kind of nice having so... I do like, whenever I'm not in the mood for anything specific, but I want to play something. Roguelikes are usually roguish. Yeah. And even though this is a very watered-down roguelike experience, it still arguably is one, not to mention it does take a lot of commitment for it. And I guess that's kind of the thing. Looking back, even just me beating all the ARRs, or reputation quests, and oh, I hate this one. And getting the combined storyline there. Not that many people actually do that, even though it's honestly not that difficult at all. Like, and I guess that's kind of the thing. Difficulty is one type of skill ball. Oh, I think I am dead, actually. Okay, this might be a bit of a problem. Come on. Alright, one's dead. There we go. Perfect timing on that level up, baby. Yeah, do not estimate the gloom. This is floor 17, and I almost died because I was a bit too, playing it a bit too fast and loose there. Plus, some mobiles are just really a pain in the ass in general. I mean, if you avoid the bad breath, you do indeed avoid the worst of it, but that doesn't change that they can cause a lot of problems. Palace or not? Wow, it doesn't even affect them. I'm pretty sure even the 50 or whatever damage, 58 damage or whatever it's doing is being amplified very significantly by the gloom. Commander of Lust. Maybe I should be a bit more liberal with the use of those, huh? So yeah, I think between this and have it on a high, I'll definitely do a bit more practice off stream, and maybe I'll see if I want to do some more of these later. Also, I'm a bit curious about some of the Wrath of the Righteous stuff again. I'm glad the game is done. That game took 4 months to complete, although it would have been 3 if I had done it 3 nights a week like I had with Kingmaker, so... More specifically... Actually, no, I could go with top parts. Kingmaker was 31 parts, and if you count the one that's going to be this weekend at time of streaming, it is that then Wrath is 33. Now, granted, I am doing all the DLC, and that does affect things. Not to mention, there's a lot less downtime. Kingmaker has a lot of stretches of not much happening, so that you can actually build up your empire and enjoy that. obviously I'm at no risk of running out the timer, so taking as much time as I possibly could just to clean out the floors was within my best interests, I'd say. That said, I guess coming up I might want to use the Cursed Horde on the next set of floors. Witching, that's not one I want to waste, so I guess it might be better to see if I have a lot of enemies here I can use it on. Yeah, that's the nice thing about this content. And so this is one of the few times where every single part of your character's kit has a use. So there is, like, normally I wouldn't have too much use for my mitigation or my, and the stun is completely useless against bosses and stuff that actually matter. I guess I could stun a random enemy, but usually that the tank has gathered for a dungeon for an EX run or something, but usually the tank handles that, or honestly, most of the time DPS can just tank through it, because obviously it's my job to tuition, huh? Yeah, unless the next floor has one, I kind of wasted that. Oh well. Should have gotten that on my way back, but whatever. I probably don't need to take on the boss, if we're completely honest. Yeah, it's not until 50 ARR that I get my first meter, and even then it's just one minor off-global cooldown skill. And it's not until Heaven's Ward cap that I actually get what could possibly be Soul Slice, which is what you could possibly consider a big nuke skill, because it's the strongest I have access to at the time. Stormblood I feel like it's a lot better, because that's when I get the stuff you... Because that's when I actually spend meter and can use it for upgraded strikes. Whirl of Death. Okay, good, there is a one here. Yeah, the chances of upgrading it aren't very good at all here, even if I hadn't reduced it as low as I had, so whatever. Oh boy, more Billicos. Yeah, once again, I should not be going in the sides like this. There we are. Stacking poison can be a little dangerous if I'm not careful. Here it is. Here we are. Oh, there was two of them here. Alright, well, kill both of you. That way neither of you can have to be alone. And there's so many mythic pets I'd like, but I also am hesitant because, again, the thing about that is the early game is going to be repeated for a lot of characters. Then again, I guess I do need to try some different builds and such. Think about it. Though it is a shame that a decent amount of the core ones are at the tail end there. Like, I'm glad that they upgraded Gold Dragon and Devil so that those mythic paths are acknowledged and you get a bit more going on with them. Pomander of Steel. Red Mage, as you might, on that note, you might imagine, but yeah, Red Mage is also very good for these, just because, got a lot of healing and damage here. And the Pomada's strength increase both your attack damage and your healing output, so if you need to emergency spot heal yourself, you'll be better at that as well. You won't have to waste as much time dual casting. Alright, now this one I believe you just kill the ads, so easy enough. Stench. Rotten Smash. As for the next game, I'm thinking about it. I was going to make something like Obama Corporation, but then, well, for Blunt, that game is at least as long as Wrath of the Righteous, just for one ending. And I'm not sure I have it in me to go for that much of a commitment so soon after ending the last one. More so if there's anything left that I might still want to do with the Wrath, but I don't think there is. It's been a very good time, though, so I guess the fact that I'm still thinking of stuff I might want to do there tells you a good bit. Now we're just gonna go 21 to 30 then. Yeah, the rewards are going up as I go along, which will make quite nice. Alistillahan. I believe this is the floor where the bird-like enemies will chirp. They put you to sleep, which can be very dangerous. Or let's use this as well. Why not? There's no Call the Accursed here. Whatever. At least level 30 plus stuff means it'll be a bit easier to level. In fact, I'm guessing that I'm actually a bit over leveled from what I'm expected to be at this point. My auto attack finished. Oh, nice. Yeah, this is where I need to start actually caring about marking enemies for killing them, because the damage increase is starting to become relevant. Probably multi-pull here, if we're honest, just because there's no gloom and I'm over-leveled. I don't know. Part of me does still wonder if maybe I should have been smart and used a tank, but then I remind myself, no, then I'm running up against the timer. And while normally survival should take effect, my general logic is, well, even if I had been a tank back there, I'd have died, you know? I think we're starting to reach the point where we might actually start seeing silver, mimics, and if that's the case, I need to basically ignore those. In fact, it's probably worth my time to do so anyways, just because, well, oh, nice. There. Ooh, new coffer. Witching. I don't need that, so let's just go. Maximum HP decreased. Hmm. good news is most skill learned in one Palace of the Dead will apply to the other. I just need to, you know, get in the habits. Right habits. Oh, I can't interrupt that. Right, the only thing that can interrupt that... Holy crap, I didn't realize it was going to do that much. Yeah. The only reason I didn't die to that is because I'm already at the right level. Had I been anything less, I probably would have died there. Yeah, my max max HP down is actually a bit more dangerous than I thought it was. I guess it's been that long since I was last in a place like this. Ah, crap. You know what? Better be safe than sorry. Yeah, that's healing me more faster than this guy can damage me. This is funny. I must say, it does at least have the roguelike situation where your game can sometimes be just decide, you know what, I feel like, no, you die today. At least the good news is the skills I learn here can be applied into Heaven on High and the others. Oh, come on. I can actually deal damage to the Palace Drake, so I kind of want to go for that thing first. The turtle doesn't seem to do that much damage unless it's using the AoE, in which case the AoE can one-shot me if I'm not careful. Like, if it managed to crit, that would have been an end of the run right then and there, and that would have been embarrassing. Then again, maybe I should have let it, because that would have been good content. I don't know. Arcane Crest. Let's see how much this helps. A lot, actually. That wasn't almost a one-shot. It was still really bad, and I shouldn't have done that, but it was an interesting test. That's for certain. Whatever. Sooner I get to the higher levels, the better, I say. But shield is definitely a godsend in this. Again, it's one of the reasons I do appreciate how this forces me. Like, normally I wouldn't really have much reason to use my shield aside from a targeted AoE here and there that the boss might do. Although I guess that isn't nothing. Especially since at level cap it also grants a party-wide small heal, which I guess can give some... which I guess can take some pressure off healers a little. Reaper has a surprising amount of support, even though it's a bigger edge lord than Dark Knight at times. Serious? I mean... I main the job, and I couldn't call it the biggest edge lord job ever. I don't think I'm going to be at risk of failing here, but I guess I know how to rush it if I need to. I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm really running low on time, there's a number of things I can do to help improve that. Yeah, there can be no traps in the starting room, but that says nothing about the, Hard to believe I actually care about those generic chests now that the Phoenix Downs are actually useful in dungeons and such now. Alright, looks like there is an accursed horde thing on this floor, so let's pay attention. Yeah, there it is. Ishgarian pikemen. I can't believe I haven't touched this thing since, like, Stormblood. There we go. Oh, nice. Commander of Strength, huh? Yeah, the animation to actually use the palms is definitely something I'll need to keep in mind. When's my buff anyway? 72. Yeah, that's not happening. There's no Shadowbringers did not have a deep dungeon, but Endwalker did, and Eureka Orthos. Alright, now the enemies are starting to catch up to me in level, which is good, but also means I'm no longer over leveled as I once was. There we go. That could have been very bad, but it worked against the enemy for once. I really should have paid attention to that. If that had exploded in my face, I'd be dead right now. Yeah, one of these days that's gonna actually happen and go, you know, I should have probably realized that would be a thing. And again, I appreciate the randomized music so I don't have to put a playlist or something. Then again, maybe some streamers would prefer if there was a playlist. At least the good news is my rotation at this level is so simple, it is impossible even for me to... And yeah, I know a lot of people joke about how they always seem to hate... How a lot of streamers always seem to hate themselves, but... I don't know. I guess after seeing how much people will expect upon streaming, it does feel like I should get my skill up to at least a certain level. Is the level even possible? I don't know. Minotaur. Well, as long as we're not in Daedalus Tower, I should be in good shape here. Or the, what is it? The Naraku. Yeah, I've fought Minotaur in the Naraku and in the Daedalus Tower so far. And that's not counting other games, like I've fought him in Elysium. And I fought him in Lost Belt 1. Oh, Toad had no effect because I was already transformed when I hit it. That's good to know, actually. More Phoenix Downs? Yes, please. They're obviously of no use to me while I'm solo, but... And for the record, I don't mind doing this content with friends or allies, or even just randos for that matter. In fact, I probably will have to for the purposes of some of the other rewards that can be done, but... Yeah, because, like, every dungeon from Heaven on High onward, so not this one. If you beat it 4 times in a row, you get some very unique items. Not in a row, just 4 times in general, you get some unique items, and you can show it to an NPC outside for a nice little reward. Or usually a mount, if I remember right, so probably something worth my time to try if I'm really gonna get into deep dungeon soloing. And if I'm not gonna do ultimates, especially because of my skill concerns, might be good to simply solo focus. Granted, this might become either easier or harder once Evercold drops, because once Evercold drops, supposedly the jobs are all getting revamped. The most important... Now, I'll believe it when I see it, because again, like, for Dawn Trail, they were supposedly going to completely redo the Dragoon, but all they did was remove 2 skills and fuse another one, which, yeah, that doesn't feel like a rework. But that's just me. Spriggan. I believe Spriggans are a type of fae in most cases. I really shouldn't be hesitant to use the heal over time on, especially once I start getting up there. Not only are they in good supply in the general sense, but they're kind of here to be used, you know? Yeah, my job is to kill everything here. I'll stop once I'm at 60. At least the good news is I don't have to go from straight up 1 once I do Heaven on High. Heaven on High starts you at 60, so you only have to worry about 10 levels. And because that came out in Stormblood, it caps at 70. So my big ultimate moves are going to be Gibbet, Gallows, and Guillotine. Guh. I now play Onomats from Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know. I guess speaking of Yu-Gi-Oh, I can tell you right now, I don't think I'm gonna be going back to, Duel Links. And no, nothing specifically made me go not playing that game ever again. They ruined it by whatever meta, no. It was just kind of slowly moved away from it, and at this point, I feel it's past the point I was enjoying it in general. I don't think anything specifically prompted it, I just kind of moved away over time, I guess is the best way to put it. Master Duel, I'm not against going back, but I would require grinding to get all the staples and stuff for my decks. That said, I'm not sure I'd actually give up Luna Lights or anything like that. It's an OTK deck at the end of the day, but that also means if I can survive the enemy's first turn, I can slaughter them. Or if I get a first turn and I can avoid their setup. Yeah, the damage from that AoE is simply not enough. I'm better off just using my 1-2-3 combo here. Yeah, that's how your Nightmare Slice. Now that might have made it a little more worth it. There we go. Oh, just as my other one was running out. Thank you, game. Yeah, my luck is all over the place, that's for sure. On one hand, I'm getting some nice stuff to expedite through here, but on the other, well, you saw a billion enemies teleported right in front of me, and I couldn't do jack shit about it. My gacha pulls were also pretty questionable. Like, for Olympus Company, I only wanted the Walpurgis Knight Ego, the 9th Walpurgis one, at time streaming. But that didn't come until, like, 180, and at that point, I might as well spark for something. Although I do appreciate them giving a free tenner, that was kind of nice. You know, let's do it. Oh, no, I didn't mean to use that one. Whoops. Ah, Palace Gate. It's got an A. This is the one that a lot of people typically fear. That's because that chirp there, it puts you to sleep, but as you saw, it then immediately hits you, which wakes you up. That is not the case in a party. In a party, it's possible for the party member to get, for only some of the party members to get hit, or even if they're all hit, then only one gets focused down. While the others get hit with an AoE. Frenzy freebooter. I don't think these can explode. Yeah, okay, yeah, using that Witching Pomander was indeed to my benefit. Excellent. I leveled up and then died. Kind of hilarious. And then got hit by the mine. That's funny. Strength. Probably shouldn't have used the light one since that reduces enemies, and I obviously need more enemies to level. Coffer Kaboom. Yeah, we didn't need if you needed real proof that that the odds of getting up of either pool upgrades was really bad on lower floors, look no further. Witching. Only one enemy, huh? Alice Morrow left. I can interrupt that if I want, but nah. Well, I can't interrupt because my stun is removed by amnesia. Actually, most of my, yeah, actually, most of my self-sustain abilities are, in fact, ruined by that. Yeah, there's a lot less enemies here, and that is seriously not to my benefit. Here. Another Pomander of Lust, wow. Right, it's an ability that my dash is. Wow, that's a lot of Lust. I didn't check what's in that chest. Although I should probably fight the Centaur. Yeah, I just have to be careful. All my self-sustain and mitigation are abilities that are silenced right now, so... But it looks like I'm killing him fast enough, yeah. Witching. Wow, lots of lust and witching right now. Is it telling me to hook up with a witch girl? Hmm. Yeah, the reason I keep dodging is because I'm higher level. Long story short, the way accuracy works in this game is if the enemy is if one side is lower level, the one with a lower level no longer has 100% accuracy. They have the ability for mechanical dodges. Mechanical dodges only apply to auto attacks, however, so it doesn't apply. So don't think you can go against a level 1 enemy at level 100, stand in AoE and dodge. I mean, it's not going to do any damage to you, but... yeah, the second wind is not a guaranteed full heal anymore. Yeah, I need to stop being so conservative with these. Also, I was surprised, but apparently, Kingmaker didn't have any, so I wasn't expecting any, but Wrath of the Righteous actually does have some subclasses exclusive to the game. Obviously, you can add them to the tabletop, but like, Stigmatized Witch is purely from the Wrath of the Righteous. It is not in the tabletop, though, of course, you could probably add it pretty easily if you felt like it. Basically, it converts Witch from a int class to Charisma. It replaces the Patron, so a lot of free spells are lost. And in return, you get an Oracle Mystery. It's not an issue for the one in there, Ember, because she has the Burned Oracle Mystery, which basically gives her a bunch of free fire spells. And that's rather nice. So yeah, she doesn't really feel the loss very much. Oh, it also turns from prepared to spontaneous, and which type of caster that you prefer is... I've seen people argue back and forth on them, but honestly, I think it's just a matter of personal preference. Like, I guess if you really want a gun to my head, I'd ask why you're... Well, first of all, I'd ask why you're putting a gun over my head over something so simple. But also, I'd say, I guess prepared can technically have having a lot more spells, and if you know what you're doing, you could really get a lot of use out of them, but at the same time, I don't think that requires absolute micromanagement, and even then, it might not have all of them. It really just depends. There's definitely something to be said about being able to build around flexibility to... Yeah, prepared casters have to specifically decide what spells they want to have ready to use throughout the day. While spontaneous, they can just cast anything, just as long as they have any... They can cast anything they've learned as long as they know it. They just have a smaller spell book to compensate. So, there's definitely give and take there. Commander of Rage. The more of those, the better, I say. I don't want to use Commanders of Flight. Commanders of Flight just reduce the total enemy count, and I don't want that at this point. Yeah, if one of these guys puts you to sleep and your team is in an AoE, one will get woken up, but you can't wake up your allies that easily. Yeah, and things can really go to shit real quick. And yeah, I am aware that the high drop rate of these potions is actually a relatively recent change. Someone complained it makes things too easy, but I have checked out the opinions of people who do regularly solo these deep dungeons, and they, by and large, they agree that it was a change for the better, because at the end of the day, having to, yeah, this floor is over, I don't need that. Because at the end of the day, having to do a ton of runs before you can attempt your quote-unquote real run isn't difficulty, it's just busy work. And it's not even a grind that... And it's not even a grind that helps, well, strictly speaking. Right, this guy leaves lingering AoE, so I gotta remember that. And it's not even a grind that gets you anything along the way. Yeah. And that's kind of the big thing. Like, you have a lot of grinds in this game, make no mistake, but there's grinds that actually give you something and grinds that don't actually do anything. Nobody likes the grinds that don't actually do anything. There we are. Let's move it over here. The last thing I want right now is to have a lingering AoE placed at my feet in the middle. Yeah, see, if I didn't do that, I would have accidentally placed an AoE in the middle, and that would have left me with no place to go in the future. Yeah, these are not optional for the bosses. I guess maybe if I had been a tank, that would have been fine, but remember that the boss would last twice as long if I'm doing that. Fear Itself. I remember that show. Fear Itself was... It was a very short-lived show, but it was basically a Twilight Zone-esque thing. So if you like that style, I'd say it's worth a checking out. But if not, you're honestly not missing anything particularly rare or unique. It's just good for what it's here for. Granted, one could say it's a bit dumb to not use, because if I run out of time, that's still time I was able to test, like, I had to try those floors out, as opposed to now, where I don't even reach them. But at the same time, 6 of one or half dozen of the other, if we're honest. Oh, I am back to where I started, almost, more or less. If I wasn't before, I definitely am now. That's a donut AoE. I don't want to risk taking the damage. I don't care to see if I can survive it or not. There we are. Yep. Oh yeah, that's the DPS perk. Feels nice seeing my rewards slowly going up, although the poetics are probably more than I really need. Yeah, I see no reason to stop. At the very least, it'd be nice if I could reach Edda tonight if I'm gonna be reset completely. I must say, I remembered Edda being a lot harder when I first tried. As far as... I did look it up. As far as I can tell, she's never been nerfed. I think... well, maybe it's just because Realm Reborn and Heaven's Ward had stuff that was a lot harder by their standard, but by today's standard, just kind of given. Like, the Chimera in... balls. The Chimera in Cutter's Cry is famous for having a ridiculously high body count and failed runs for a good while. It hasn't even been nerfed any, it's just that it has 3 moves that you'll remember easily. A cone attack, a close range attack, and a donut AoE. A circle AoE and a donut AoE, which are basically considered bare basics nowadays. I guess they do also... Oh yeah, they also do have the, Hecaton Eyes. Oh Yeah, we're getting stuff that's actually level 50, so I'm no longer over-leveled. Alteration. You know what? Let's use this. Alright, level 50. Here we are. The big ultimate move for Realm Reborn, apparently. As a reminder, if I'm against a single target, then not counting my mitigations, I have 4 buttons. My 1, 2, 3 combo and the Bloodstock. Yeah, this would be even worse if I was a Viper, because Viper has 3 buttons until Heaven's War. Until mid-Heaven's Ward. Again, assuming a single target. And now I actually do a... Yeah, it was worth using my, my mark on the enemies before just to increase my damage by 10%, but now it's absolutely essential because that's what grants me more meter. And the meter is what I need. Alteration. I could probably handle one of those right now. That was a close one. I really should not have risked that. But I'm taking way more risks than I should. It doesn't matter that this is an early floor. As you saw, death is still possible. Stupid nightmare. Yeah, this is a really good example of how the game can decide. I feel like he screw you over today if you're not careful. Now I have started wondering if I should pick up some of the other new games coming out like Neverness to Everness, but at the same time I feel like I have way too many gotchas in the general sense. Serenity? Oh, that doesn't do anything for this floor, unfortunately. Oh well. Whatever, I managed to get a couple more levels. That's worth it in my opinion. Didn't see this thing earlier. Whoops. I'll use it more when I get to floors 100 or 1 and up or something. Well, no, even after 50, the drop tables change. That's why I didn't have the mini piazza there. Because I haven't actually had from this low the floor drop rates. Then again, they're both all iron trimmed. No, yeah. Yeah, the bronze trimmed and iron trimmed. Yeah, the 50 onward is iron trimmed and these are bronze trimmed. Silver starts at 50. There we are. Ton eyes. I believe those are proximity aggro. Oh, come on, really? Okay, that didn't do nearly as much damage as I was worried it was going to. I see. He could use his ability because pacification didn't work. He just got silence. So he can't cast his fireball from the horn thingy. Yeah, that move he couldn't use. Commander of Steel, eh? Let's refresh it then. Oh, he dropped his chest. Phoenix down. Don't mind if I do. Yeah, this is gonna be so there's either gonna be mimics or something else. If mimics, that's gonna be very dangerous. I might actually have to use witching on them. Nightmare bogey. Oh no, I already used the one before and I just used a second, didn't I? Well, I'm embarrassed. Just painstakingly taking the time to kill all these things is kind of why I was unsure if I wanted to actually stream this low of level content. And if you're wondering what the since you start at 50 here, where do you start on Heaven on High? Floor 30, I believe. Now in whoopsie. As long as knockback is not active. As long as knockback is not turned off, you can instantly kill with rage here. Yeah, I messed up real bad. Oh no, actually, I didn't. Yeah, those are all Mandragoras. Pygmeoi. And not having that, if they don't have that triangle, that means they're docile, they're not hostile. I don't care about the Pomander Fortune, but I do care about... Yeah, I don't care about that. There's no more enemies alive. Oh, a new enemy did spawn. Huh. I guess it's worth killing him on my way out. I mean, it's about to end. Pomander of Rage obtained. If I'd seen him on the way in, but he probably spawned behind me, actually. Oh, there's two of them. This kind of reminds me of how in Elden Ring I often had to farm for all those arrows during my archery run before the stream actually started, because I wanted to stick to primarily those, but it could be used up I can use up quite a few of them in a single run, and that wasn't very fun. It's just busy work. Consumables were kind of a pain too, because a lot of ones that use like Altaria leaves, those you can't easily get back. Yeah, those you can't bust. Thankfully, mummies don't have a chance of inflicting disease in this game. I mean, some of them do, but that's in a specific boss fight. Yeah, this one's not nearly as powerful as it was on the earlier floors. Yeah, the Succubus one is significantly better. Oh, crap. Well, I guess I have no choice. Here. Yeah, the mimics are all silver now, as you noticed. So we're definitely making progress. Alright, I can pick up the lust while I'm here, I guess. Oh, wrong way. Alteration. I guess while the mimics are still stunnable, I needed to take advantage. Because I think once I get to the 40 to 50 floors, that's not happening. Interesting that enemies have to finish collapsing before the experience is actually given to you. It's not just here, too. That's how the main game works. It's just easy to miss. Especially... Swamp. So basically the AoE one now. Commander of Steel. Just as the other one was running out, in the single digits. Fact. Shouldn't be doing this, but I want to expedite this to some degree. Yeah, since they take a moment for the AoE, that's very good for me. Another? Wow. Unfortunately, maybe better to say goodbye to this one. Nightmare Succubus are also kind of annoying because they can fire AoEs at a range and before you've even aggroed them. So if you just sit around a bit, you're prone to take a few hits. Or burn. Landmine. Oh balls, this is not good. have a way to cleanse this. Well, it is what it is. This early on, I could probably deal with it. I mean, probably. How'd I miss that? Wow. Yeah, that's... I mean, you know, more evidence as to why you specifically need to stay close to the walls. There's one right there. Alright, now this is a Pomander of Steel here. So I'll use this and pick it up. There we are. Easy enough. Commander of Alteration. Well, I'm already doing this, why not? Good news is, at least, is that the Mimic's chest, the Mimic's debuff will wear off on its own before I hit the boss room, which is quite nice. A lot of enemies. Sadly, leveling up does not remove it either. I guess I can come back for it. Not like I'm at risk of running out of time this early on, especially now that my levels are starting to really get good. Oh crap. Nightmare Carlo Badass. That was definitely a bigger risk than I should have been taken. Intuition. thankfully the pox only stops your natural HP regeneration and not your, and not from healing, so I can heal myself. And I can use healing potions, I just can't use, Yeah, that was worth my time, I think. Not much, but I'm very close to 60 now. I should be able to cap before the next set, which is good. That means I can basically just rush my way over to Edda, who's the 50 boss. In terms of the story for the... In terms of the actual quest that unlocks this area, the story for it ends at 50 when you defeat Edda. And you can argue there's also a story that ends at 100, since that necromancer was the one who caused her to be that undead master and all that as part of his experiments. And everything after that is just gravy, basically. There's no story to it. Maximum HP decreased. Pomander of Side. Strength, eh? Looks like there's not too many enemies this time around. I just have to be careful if they're mimics. If they're mimics... Okay, they're not. Lust. Come on, really? That count as broken line of... Dang, they're using my own break line of sight techniques against me. That's all of them. Strength. Affluence. There's just no reason not to do this. And hey, the pox is almost gone. Full Breaker Isle theme. You're ready. Here's pox. Although this early on, I really need to save it. It's definitely better to have a good supply of them for the later floors. Nightmare Troubadour. Nightmare Monk. Holy crap, look at all these wandering enemies. Commander of Sights. I will move on quickly as soon as I hit the level cap, which I'm very close to. No reason to stop now. Yeah, that's the strongest thing here, so yeah, I am in level. I think it's pulling can be a bit of a problem. Wow, I didn't know those spawn traps in there. I never go there, so all the more reason. Alteration. Holy crap, you guys are insisting on summoning these Gobu enemies. Commander of Flight. Flights are going to be a lot more useful on later floors. I've not been in there yet. Wow, that's a lot of alterations. I guess I can use one for the next floor. Well, I mean, why not, right? Serenity. Do not need that one. Kaboom! Darn. Here we are. The cap obtained. I still need to kill stuff for the purposes of... I still need to kill stuff for the purposes of unlocking the exit, but... More Phoenix Downs. Don't mind if I do. Commander of Rage, huh? Knockback is not disabled, and therefore... You know what, might as well. I can't run a sprint here. The transformation only lasts a minute, so I gotta take full advantage while I can. Hullbreaker Isle, where you fight tentacles. Not the octopus, or not the squid or octopus, the squid, yeah, this. Well, not the monster it's attached to, basically, just the tentacle. I guess if nothing else, it's nice getting a lot of these, out of time. Intuition. Well, the good news is I cleared out these rooms. Unfortunately, on the early floors, enemies have a very fast respawn time. It's actually a lot slower in later floors, so which shocks me that the enemies spawn not only in the areas I've been, but no, this not this area I've been, because that's usually where they do spawn. But basically, I'm just shocked that they spawn right in front of my face, and everything came there. Rage. Wow, that's a lot of rages. They want me angry. If I was a ninja master, I'd probably try that, if I could sneak through here. But that's not happening. Here we are. Alright, you dicks. At least you're giving me a potion out of all that. Now I can just rush to the exits. Tab. Stab the AoEs, I guess. Yeah, regeneration potions are not negotiable here. Nightmare boots. Standard DPS job. Yeah, kill all the ads unless they're spawning too quickly. Oopsie. Cursed fox. Now that I got my big hitters, it's really working. I think this is definitely a fight you should be capped by. Let's just focus him down. There we go. Let me grab a sip of my drink here. Alrighty, there we are. Alright, next up is the floors with Edda. So I'm gonna go ahead and do those. Yeah, I like to have the little silly falling one there. Oh. Huh. Is it in this room? No. It can't be in the starting room because nothing is allowed to be in the floor at the starting room. Yeah, this is... Yeah, these guys are all here basically on the off chance that you aren't capped yet. These guys would get you there. Oh, ow. There we are. Might as well grab the accursed horde while I'm here. Yeah, I don't care about you guys. Fortune. Don't care. First, see if this does anything. Nope. That's alright, it'll fix as soon as I beat Edda. I believe beating Edda gives you a guaranteed +1 to attack and defense if you haven't already done so. Commander of Steel, huh? Alright, some more defenses don't hurt. And yeah, I will be using a Strength and Steel against Edda no matter what. It's just going to expedite the fight significantly since she's a very long fight otherwise. Darn it, I thought I defeated the Demons of Wrath of Righteous, but now they're back. Commander of Sight it is. Okay, that's a waste of my time. That direction's a waste of my time. I mean, there are chests there, but then again, maybe I should just to be sure. It's not like I'm gonna run out of time or anything, so... Yeah, see, this is what happened if you're not too close to the edge. entity. That removes the floor gimmick, which I don't need. Well, I guess it was worth it just to see. I believe you have to be close to the Necromancer before you start getting the... what? I forget the name. It's the angel that destroys undead and undead only. I suppose checking this chest might be at least worth it, even if it just proves it wasn't worth my time. Intuition. Kill it. Oh, come on, you. Screw you, buddy. At least I got some sustaining potions out of the deal. I definitely want as many of those as I possibly can get. Yeah, it seems like a lot more work to go through there. Kind of sight it is, huh? Alright, so through that door. I already have an intuition active. I can't use a second. They really want me to do accursed horde stuff, huh? I guess there is a title for getting a lot of it. Do I want to waste time on that in here? Then again, I don't... Kill you. I guess I need to unlock the door somehow. Damn it, Nightmare Demon, I don't want any of you. Oh, the Snow Cloak theme, that's a good one. Rage, huh? Alright. Nightmare boot. Get my coffer. right, no items means no healing items either. Now granted, I have more than enough sustain on my own, especially at this level, so I should be fine, but interesting. Oh, I forgot to go back and get a new rage. Oh dear, I am bad. I'm really, really bad. Oh man, maybe I should start singing that song. Nah, nobody cares. Screw you, boot. Give me that. Three X potions. There we go, I killed it before it went off. But that's not gonna work on on higher floors. Lower floors, rather, because we're going down here. Heaven on High is where you go up. I don't know about Eureka Orthus, but I do know Pilgrim's Traverse, they decided to have you just going to the side, apparently. Supposedly, that's where the name comes from. You're making a pilgrimage across a very long spot. You know what? I don't care about any of you. Screw y'all. I'm going home. You know what? Screw you guys. I'm going... Oh, crap. I'm gonna have to... Well, at the very least, I can fight this guy. Nightmare, right. Yeah, that's a treasure room, so it's a bit more populated. But I don't really want to have to deal with that. Plus, it's not like I don't have a really good store of items already. Screw you too, buddy. There. You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna kill you too and see what's in that chest. I have absolutely no reason to do this. I simply feel like it. Do not care. Yeah, the one issue about using the Mandragora Mimics bit is that one floor up means it could be on an unavoidable thing on the way to the transporter, or it could be an alternate thing, and I'd really rather it not be the alternate thing. Nightmare persona. Funny, isn't there a persona called Nightmare? Oh, there's nothing in there. Okay, never mind. False alarm. Let's go the other direction. I could just use a Pomander sight, but... Well, if I use a sight or a safety, there's only enough to... There's not enough to go through the entire new room, through the entire floor of 10. There's only like 6 of those total. Yeah, no thank you. Yeah, this looks very much like the dungeon you fight Edda in. Nightmare persona. Ah, crap. Witching time. There we go. Defeated the dragon while it was a frog, more or less. Yeah, that's what those witchings are good for. Phew. That could have been really nasty. Sight. Got it. Well, it's fine. Like I said, Edda gives a guaranteed one, if I remember right. But I guess we'll find out for ourselves soon enough. Kill. Lust. Do not care. And I'm going to use Steel and Combat against Edda if I don't find one in here to reset them. Give a reason to use them early, because that fight can take a bit if you're not careful. Oh, wonderful. Made up for the witching I just used. And yeah, now that I've got my full AoE rotation, an actual AoE rotation, I should say, it's a lot more reasonable. Nightmare Blood God. Nightmare Blood Guard. Yeah, I can interrupt that with a stun at least. Pomander Purity. I guess I don't have to worry about mimics on this floor then. Slice and dice. Whew. Thought that might explode. And of course it didn't hit either enemy, because why would it? Oh, come on, you. Screw you, Nightmare Blood Guard. Yeah, I don't care about any of you all. I'm out of here. Or I would if this gravekeeper is right. We're still technically in early floors, so enemies respawn significantly faster. Pretty, yeah. That's a treasure room, I'd wager. Yes, it is. I don't care about anything in there. Come on, let's get out of here. Here we are. Let's move. Time to fight Edda. We still have a lot of time on the strength one, so I'll just use the defense this time. And again, I do have to remember to spam the potions. Edda Black Horse. Kinda weird. I remember at the time finding kinda weird that they had this weird session with her being ridiculous. All that, because, after the dungeon where everything went to shit, things seemed bad for a bit, but then she said, it's alright, I buried my boyfriend's head, I was move on from this nightmare, but then she came back for the dungeon, and then came back here. Going by so much faster with the palms. Yeah, like I said, I remember Edda being a lot harder than this for some reason. I don't know how. And again, I checked. She has not been nerfed in any way, shape, or form. I can only assume that I've just gotten better or something. Red Wedding as her big move in her dungeon appearance. There we go. Yeah, as I said, once you defeat her here, you not only get the 51 to 60, but you've more or less completed the story for the quest here. Let me take a look real quick. No, it wasn't guaranteed, I guess. Huh. Oh well. I probably should have only made 2 instead of 3, but whatever, I'll crack. Am I back here? Guess we might as well see what's in these, identify these items. Yeah, Thavnir was referenced even as far back as A Realm Reborn, and has periodically appeared. And when we actually be there, we see why. Yeah, their alchemy and magic is way ahead of anything else. Kinda nice. I guess they look okay. I mean, any material you get is best off sold. Crimson Star. I could probably sell the high potions as well. I don't really need these. when I have these. In general, I've got some better ones, though, it looks like, so if I really need them, I got all these. Potions were Potions honestly weren't very useful even in Realm Reborn. They kept using them, and they did make some more in Heaven's Ward, as you can see here, but ever since then, any that show up are healing over time, like the Palace of the Dead ones here. Like, Eureka has a bunch of healing over time stuff that only works while in Eureka. It can be quite nice there as well. And I guess that's the field operations like that are also why. On that note, oh yeah, I was going to look, let's see. Where's Deep Dungeons? Here. Heaven's a Lonely Place. On High. Lone Hero. Yeah, that one are the two I'd like to try for. Yeah, 30th floor is the one you get for the story. So it's actually quite easy to get that. And let's see here. Just trouble with Buried. Oh, of the Sixth Sense. That one's a bit RNG. Oh wow, 300,000. What the hell? What am I even at? 400. I don't even have the 1,000 for the Horde. Clever name, though. Oh well. You know what? I think we can go one last set here. Enter Palace of the Dead. And we shall do one last set here. Now this area I'm very familiar with. The gremlins are a pain, but mostly because they debuff you so that more threatening stuff can get you. It's about as annoying as it sounds. Might as well use 2. I mean, why not? I'm gonna find more. Lust. I do not need lust. Oh, there's one over in the starting room. Yeah, they made a Sentai parody during Heaven's Ward, if I remember right. Alright, well, good to know if I run into a Mimic. If I don't kill it in time, I'll be safe. I don't want to use up too many of those, to be blunt. There is nothing of particular value here. Well, I guess I can try the silver. I don't think it's gonna be... Let's try it first. There we are. Well, that was a little silly. Right, that was the purity I didn't need. So I might as well activate these. Just so I have some spare room for more intuitions later. Maybe I should have killed more enemies there, huh? Two sustaining potions. Well, I guess we now know where to go next. Oh, no, I did stop. I killed it before the infatuation went off because of the animation delay. Okay, that's nice. No items and HP decreased. Gotta be careful. Anubis. Yeah, I can't use the rage here, and I don't want to use Serenity to allow myself use of it. So, whatever, let's just leave. Oh crap, I actually didn't mean to get both of them. Moy dad. Here we are. Yeah, I have 6 minutes per floor, so the less time I do, the more I have time for future ones. And since I'm level cap, I don't need to worry about anything, really. Haste granted. Ooh, that's gonna be quite nice for killing things that much faster. Granted, I don't know, enemies don't benefit. They have to be written. No, it wouldn't show up on there if it does, because, like... I don't care about you, Palace Imp. Commander of Steel. Sounds good to me. Now you I do care about, Anubis. You made the mistake of getting my attention, Imp. Witching. Don't care. Ooh, Anubis. Anubis down. Why not? It's from some of the Allegan research facilities. Dang, decent little bit of memory lane here. Palace Pot. Kill. Yeah, Palace Gremlins, they're really not a problem themselves. It's that they make you more at risk of other stuff. I'm not even barely a minute on that floor. That's making good time. These early floors, I really shouldn't need to worry too much. Items unavailable. Purity. Okay, good. I've got this one here. So now I just need to kill. Well, these 2 palace idols actually should be exactly what I'm looking for. Die, die, die. Come on, you, damn it. Auto heal disabled. You know what? Let's be silly and use that. I'm sure I won't regret the billion mimics I unleash upon myself in doing so. Come on, you. There we go. I really shouldn't have gone in the room with her and just brought him to me, but whatever. Wow, the Karen came first again. I keep forgetting there's no self-heal here. Of course, the enemy spawns right on me. Why wouldn't they? That would actually make sense. Whatever. Passage is open. Now watch as like 6 things spawned in there while I was gone. Now watch as one spawns right as I'm running across the room. Heal. Phoenix down. Come on, slice you. That would be worse. Serenity, I don't care enough about that. You know what? Witching. There. the defenses went up last that floor, because max HP down actually can be really bad. As a DPS, I'm already very squishy, and while I do have a bit more physical defense as a Reaper specifically, I do have a notably less magic defense, I believe. I can check once I leave. Yeah, I remember checking before. Damage down, what a pain. Purity. Not my concern. Oh, this is the next area. That still wasn't enough. Okay, I'm glad I... There we go, that was enough. It's fine. Maybe I should spend more time checking out the rest of the floor then. Then again, damage down I'm not a fan of, so maybe I should just expedite it. The gloom and items unavailable. Oh, I don't like this. This strikes me as way too many things can potentially go wrong. I can't even use that intuition. Boy, those would be nice to have against the boss coming up. Whatever, I don't need these. The sooner I get out of this set, the better. There. All of sorrow. This guy, I do very much remember the mechanics easily, just because of how often I had to kill him for experience. Because make no mistake, there was absolutely a time where, this guy was the best one to grind for experience, and I guess pod shirts if you really wanted any of the rewards, and to be fair, there are a handful. Basically, as long as you don't get shoved into his exploding balls, he doesn't have anything that's particularly dangerous. Well, I mean, I guess if you stand into the sorrow halls for too long and die of bleed damage, that's on you, given how extremely obvious they are. Let's do it this way. There we go, duty complete. Here we go. And as I said, it's gonna be leveling a lot more quickly as I go along, so... Guess I might as well... Yeah, it goes from bronze to iron, and these iron ones have a very different drop pool. I already have that one? Yes, I do. Bad. Alrighty. Well, I may have died horribly, but I'm slowly making my way back up. Might try some more or Heaven on High next time. We'll find out. We'll see. I haven't played it. I had before streaming, I had only played it a little bit to get myself up to the point I was streaming at. And that was largely because I had just started again and thought, you know, maybe I should stream this. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, I can sit on these, right? I think this one. Yeah, because I started on that. Yep. And because every Final Fantasy XIV content creator starts with the camera staring at the character, I'm going to do that. Well, hopefully that was a nice little distraction. Still unsure if I want to do the whole thing on stream, but as nice as that'd be as an accomplishment, but we'll see. It also depends on what I want to play next, so I'll worry about that later. Until then, thank you for watching, hope you had a good time, and I'll see you later.